What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Max Holloway had some harsh words for Arman after the controversial moment at the UFC Qatar weigh-ins. Arman and Dan Hooker faced off, and during the stare-down, Arman stepped in and accidentally headbutted Hooker. The contact immediately sparked backlash online, with many fans pointing out that if Hooker had been cut or injured, the entire fight could have been canceled. During a recent live stream, Holloway didn't hold back, calling the move really stupid and saying fighters should never risk a payday over a moment of emotion. He explained that fighters don't get paid at weigh-ins, so doing anything that could jeopardize the bout makes no sense. Holloway imagined a scenario where Hooker got hurt and the fight fell apart, saying Arman would have essentially thrown away his paycheck for nothing more than a heated moment. Holloway continued by saying that emotions can get the better of anyone, but as a professional, you've got to stay composed. Losing a fight opportunity, losing money, or risking suspensions just because of a brief outburst is something he believes no fighter should allow to happen. Holloway's message was simple: stay smart, stay calm, and don't sabotage your own career. Later, Holloway appeared on the Korean Zombies podcast, where he doubled down on his belief that he's still the best boxer in the UFC. Despite his knockout loss to Ilia, Holloway insisted that one result doesn't define his overall skill set. He said a lot of people will try to tell him he's no longer the best because of that fight with Ilia, but he refuses to let outside opinions change the way he sees himself. Holloway said that when he looks in the mirror, he knows who he is and what he brings to the table, and that confidence is part of what has made him one of the best fighters in the world. He added that no internet critic hiding behind a fake name or profile picture is ever going to shake his self-belief. Holloway admitted he sometimes replies to online comments just for fun, saying he enjoys stirring up a bit of drama and going back and forth with fans. He laughed about how many of these people don't even show their real faces or names, explaining that their lack of confidence doesn't bother him at all. Holloway ended by saying he's comfortable with who he is, and no amount of online noise will ever change that. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news. Robert Whittaker shared his honest thoughts on a hypothetical matchup that fans have debated for years: Prime GSP versus Islam Makhachev. During the latest episode of his MMA Arcade podcast, Whittaker broke down both fighters' styles and explained why, in his view, Islam would have the edge. GSP is widely regarded as the greatest welterweight of all time, a dominant champion who also captured the middleweight belt. Meanwhile, Islam has now established himself as a two-division UFC champion, showing a level of control and dominance that few fighters in the modern era can match. Whittaker said the matchup is extremely tricky, especially at welterweight, because GSP brings such a well-rounded and complete game. He described GSP as a springy, karate-style fighter who moves in and out with precision, shoots for takedowns at perfect moments, and uses his elite cardio to win scrambles. Whittaker highlighted GSP's top-tier jiu-jitsu and his ability to blend wrestling with striking seamlessly. He noted that GSP used the full MMA toolbox, keeping opponents guessing with a mix of takedowns and sharp boxing. Once opponents worried about the takedown, GSP would light them up on the feet, then mix in more wrestling to keep control. But when comparing that to Islam's style, Whittaker said the difference comes down to what happens when the fight becomes a scramble or a heavy wrestling exchange. In his opinion, Islam is built for those chaotic, grinding moments. He compared Islam's ability to thrive in scrambles to how Khabib used to dominate, saying Islam would likely win those sequences more consistently than GSP. Whittaker believes that if both fighters end up wrestling repeatedly, Islam would come out ahead simply because of his strength, control, and relentless pressure. He explained that while GSP used wrestling to create openings for striking, Islam uses wrestling to take opponents down and keep them there, shutting them out of the fight entirely. Whittaker said Islam's top pressure is suffocating, and once he gets opponents down, you're not getting back up. That, in his mind, is the biggest factor. He emphasized that it's still a very hard matchup to call because of how complete GSP was. But after breaking it down, he ultimately believes Islam would get it done, especially in a fight defined by scrambles, grappling exchanges, and long stretches of control on the mat. Moving on to another news. Sean O'Malley doesn't believe the UFC will book Arman versus Ilia anytime soon. In a new video posted on his YouTube channel, O'Malley reacted to Arman's dominant win over Dan Hooker and broke down what he thinks comes next for the lightweight contender. Even though Arman looked incredible, O'Malley said he doubts the UFC will risk matching him up with Ilia, especially with Ilia holding the belt and building strong momentum as champion. O'Malley explained that Arman is no joke and poses a serious threat. He said the matchup itself is fascinating, but from a business standpoint, he doesn't see the UFC taking that gamble. According to him, the promotion sees Ilia as a marketable, exciting champion, someone they want to continue building. O'Malley believes the UFC might be hesitant to put Ilia in front of someone as dangerous as Arman because Arman has a real chance of ending that title reign. During his breakdown, O'Malley admitted something surprising. He said he actually thinks Ilia could knock Arman out, even though he rarely picks against Arman in potential matchups. Still, he emphasized that if anyone at 155 has the tools, toughness, and style to defeat Ilia, it's Arman. O'Malley pointed out Arman's speed, pressure, and improved striking, along with his world-class grappling, calling him one of the most complete lightweights in the division. O'Malley also mentioned that fans have been calling for Arman to get his shot, but he feels timing, business, and the UFC's long-term plans might delay it. He said Arman is still young, still improving, and will likely get his opportunity eventually. But right now, the UFC may prefer matchups that keep Ilia active while avoiding unnecessary risks. In the end, O'Malley praised both fighters, saying the matchup is elite, dangerous, and absolutely worthy of a title fight. But he remains convinced the UFC won't rush into making Arman versus Ilia just yet. Moving on to another news. Darren Till went on a fiery rant aimed directly at Ian Garry, following Garry's backstage altercation with Khamzat at UFC Qatar. Posting on X, Till made it clear that while he respects Garry's skills as a fighter, he has major issues with the way Garry presents himself in public. Till wrote that Garry is such a good fighter, but claimed he might also be the fakest human on earth, adding that it's incredibly hard to like him because everything about him feels forced and insincere. Till said he has literally sat in his room trying to convince himself to like Garry, but his instincts always tell him otherwise. He pointed to Garry calling Khamzat a child and insisted that the entire interaction looked fake from start to finish. According to Till, when Garry turned away during the confrontation, he appeared scared, while Khamzat reacted exactly how someone like Till would, which is why the two were once close friends. Till argued that if you talk trash and then get confronted in person, you need to stand on it, not fold under pressure. He continued by saying, Garry is undeniably a talented fighter, but so unlikable, even criticizing Garry for hating on Leon's recent performance. Till added that Garry has been kicked out of multiple gyms because, in his words, he's a rat at the end of the day. He said he genuinely tried to support Garry, but the way Garry behaves makes it impossible for him to do so. Till ended by calling Garry a proper fake, making it clear he's completely done trying to understand or defend him. Moving on to another news. Nate Diaz made it clear he doesn't believe Islam Makhachev is the UFC's true #1 pound-for-pound fighter. During a recent appearance on Neon's livestream with Jake Shields, Diaz was asked who he personally considers the best fighter in the sport right now. Even though Islam holds the official top spot, Diaz completely dismissed the ranking, arguing that Islam hasn't been in the game long enough and hasn't beaten anyone he considers truly great. He went on to say that Islam is a boring fighter, claiming that Ilia is far more complete, explosive, and exciting to watch inside the cage. As the conversation continued, Diaz and Shields were asked again to name their #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC. Diaz immediately brought up John Jones, calling him an OG legend, someone whose accomplishments and longevity speak for themselves. Shields agreed, saying Jones has been at the top for so long that his place in the sport is undeniable. Diaz added that he doesn't even consider it a debate when Jones is healthy and active. For him, Jones' legacy and dominance outweigh anything Islam has done. When the topic returned to Islam, Diaz didn't hold back. He said the UFC and the media just throw rankings around without real justification, acting like Islam has been around forever when, in his opinion, he's only been at the top for 2 minutes. Diaz argued that being ranked #1 pound for pound requires a long-standing run of beating elite opponents, something he believes Islam hasn't achieved. He compared the current era to the days of legends like BJ Penn, who fought icons such as Matt Hughes and GSP. Diaz said those were accomplishments you could feel and remember, whereas he claimed Islam hasn't shown anything close to that level of greatness yet. Diaz continued by saying that even though he and Islam have their differences, his opinion isn't based on hate. Instead, he insists it's based on what he's seen inside the cage. He said that he doesn't remember anything spectacular from Islam's recent performances and admitted he often felt bored watching them. For Diaz, that alone disqualifies Islam from being mentioned alongside fighters like Jones or the legends from earlier eras. He believes the UFC shouldn't be so quick to hand out the #1 spot based on hype or a short run at the top. In his view, Islam might become the best someday, but right now, he doesn't deserve that title, and his name shouldn't be thrown into the same conversations as the fighters who truly built their legacy over years of dominance. Moving on to another news. Gable Steveson delivered one of the most explosive moments of his young MMA career with a brutal 24-second knockout that kept him undefeated and pushed him closer to his long-term goal of reaching the UFC. Fighting in the main event of APFC 21, the promotion run by former UFC champion Anthony Pettis, Steveson showed exactly why so many fans and analysts consider him one of the most dangerous prospects in the sport. From the opening bell, he wasted no time closing the distance, using his incredible speed and power to overwhelm his opponent. A perfectly timed right hand connected clean, sending shockwaves through the arena as the referee rushed in to stop the fight. With this victory, Steveson improved to 2-0 in his mixed martial arts career and has spent less than 2 minutes total inside the cage. The performance was a clear statement, showing that his transition from elite wrestling to MMA is not just working, but accelerating at a remarkable pace. As his momentum continues to build, fans are already anticipating how far he can climb in the heavyweight division. Moving on to another news. Conor is back after going through what he describes as a wild and deeply transformative treatment in Mexico. In a long message he shared on X, he explained that he met forward-thinking doctors from Stanford University who guided him through a series of treatments meant to address long-carried trauma. He said he traveled to Tijuana, Mexico, where he underwent Ibogaine treatment at Ambio, the same place featured in the recently released Netflix documentary In Waves and War. According to him, the experience was incredible, intense, and absolutely eye-opening. Conor said the treatment showed him what would have been his own death, how soon it could have happened, and how it would have affected his children. He described looking down on himself as it unfolded, and then seeing the world from inside a coffin. He went on to say that in the middle of this experience, he saw God, the Holy Trinity, Jesus, Mary, and the archangels, all present in what he described as a moment of pure heavenly clarity. He said Jesus descended from white marble steps and placed a crown on him, telling him he was saved. According to Conor, his brain, heart, and soul were healed. He explained that the entire process lasted 36 hours before he finally rested. When he woke up, he said he felt like himself again, describing the whole journey as the most enlightening and enchanting experience he had ever undertaken. He said the treatment was extremely tough but absolutely worth it, claiming it saved his life and, in turn, saved his family. Conor thanked everyone who supported him, prayed for him, or sent positive words during his struggles. He said their prayers worked and that he now feels like a child again, but with the knowledge of an adult. He thanked his family, friends, fans, supporters, and team, saying they all made it through together. He added that the world is now in for a treat, and he promised to live his life by God's word and nothing more. He ended by expressing deep gratitude for what he calls an incredible blessing, signing off simply as Conor. Moving on to another news. Islam Makhachev returned home to Dagestan on Sunday after his UFC 322 victory over JDM. While speaking to the media at the airport, he addressed several potential opponents for his first welterweight title defense. One of the biggest topics was Ian Garry's recent callout. Islam made it clear he wasn't impressed with Garry's performance over the weekend, saying it didn't do much to convince him that Garry is the next rightful challenger. Still, he didn't completely shut the door on the matchup, acknowledging that if the UFC wants it and the timing makes sense, he's open to considering it. Islam also talked about Shavkat Rakhmonov, saying he would gladly accept that fight. However, he pointed out that the UFC might be hesitant to give Shavkat a title shot because of his long stretches of inactivity. Islam explained that while Shavkat is undeniably dangerous and talented, the promotion usually prefers more active contenders when building championship storylines. Even so, he made it clear that if Shavkat is the name the UFC brings him, he's ready. Of course, he was also asked about a potential super fight with Ilia. Islam said it would take a very strong offer from the UFC for him to move back down to 155 and make that matchup happen. He acknowledged Ilia's success and star power, but reminded everyone that cutting to lightweight is difficult for him at this stage. For the right deal and the right circumstances, he'd consider it, but it's not a fight he'll take lightly after moving up and capturing the welterweight belt. Overall, Islam kept every option open while making it clear that his next move will depend on timing, activity, and the UFC's best offer. Moving on to another news. Khamzat has sent a new threat toward Ian Garry following their heated backstage altercation at UFC Qatar. The tension between them escalated when Khamzat shoved Garry, claiming Garry had touched him in a disrespectful way during a brief encounter. Although both fighters addressed the situation in their post-fight press conferences, the exchange clearly didn't settle anything for the middleweight champion. In a now-deleted tweet that was reshared by Championship Rounds on X, Khamzat continued firing shots at Garry, keeping the feud alive on social media. He wrote, "White boy, you will not survive 1 minute in my world," making it clear that his anger hadn't cooled down after the event. The situation has only added more fuel to an already intense rivalry, especially with both fighters rising in popularity and building strong fan bases. While the UFC hasn't hinted at booking the matchup, moments like this only increase public interest. For now, the feud remains behind the scenes and online, but the hostility between Khamzat and Garry suggests that their paths may cross inside the octagon sooner rather than later.